Okay, the next little thing I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to start making up the dagger board trunk, which I make up in a couple pieces. I get them unstuck from the this wing that I put down to keep everything from sticking to my wooden bench. I make it in two halves. One's a flat half. It's got a piece of 2x2 on the top. The other half has 2x2s on the sides, both sides, and then its matching top piece. So when it sets in the boat, it's going to look like this. The dagger board will go down through the middle. It's not a pretty thing, but then it'll be hidden behind plywood seating, so you won't see it. What I do is make sure I gel magic the wood to the plywood, put in some stainless steel screws for some mechanical holding. Same on the sides. Everything will get glued gel magic together and then trim. But the next thing I need to do is trim off the edge. I only roll the fiberglass cloth and I put that in to protect the wood insides from the banging around of the dagger board case. I'm going to trim this off and I'm going to give it another coat of epoxy. I usually like to fill the weave either 2 or 3 times, and so it has plenty of wear surface there. Then I'll gel magic the edges and put it together, and then we'll go into the boat. And then I start from the fact that the dagger board is going to set the seat heights and placement of everything. I have everything worked out from my tank tests as to where the seats are placed for weight distribution, and I have my location for the dagger board made out from the old traditional. Once I know the water line, then I know how deep the boat sets, and then I can do a silhouette, weight it on the pin, and then find out where my center of lateral resistance is, and then I know where the CE on my sail is, and match them out. So we'll finish this up, and then we'll put it in the boat, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the interior after that. What I do is I set the dagger board trunk in the boat first, and that sets the height. I will later put a straight, well, actually it's a piece of aluminum tubing on top of this to set the heights of the bow and the stern seat off of this. So what I've done is I've got the two pieces gel magic together. They're gel magic and they're stainless steel screwed for mechanical strength. I've added centerline marks on the bottoms, and on the tops I have my centerline string installed. I have my pencil bobs marked out, where they're at. This long one, until I disturbed it, was setting on the center line. One of the things I do when I'm locking up the panels after I've cut them out, I haven't even wired the boat together yet, on one of the panels down in here, right down in here, I add a line that is 2 inches offset from the true keel line center of the boat. And to give myself a double check, I went underneath the boat and drilled holes up from the seam, the open seam that I haven't finished yet, back up into the boat to check this, and it is true. It is on the center line. One of the things that you needed to have done before you started this was to make certain that the boat was relatively level and tied down. I tie it down in 4 corners to my workbench with some cord that I can adjust and get it fixed in place. But the big thing is on the final override is the centerline string is true to the center line, and the plumb bob, the long one here, is true to the center line that was described on the keel, or the keel line of the panels. Okay, I've got, it takes a while, a little round robin here, this, a little of that, kick here, push there, twist there. I've got some stiffeners in that are holding this in place with clamps from the side, so it can't move. Once I've got the clamp, or the stabilizers clamped to this dagger board case, this can't move. Then wait for a little while to make certain that the pencil bobs, which I take just old used pencils, put a, I think it's a 5/16 or 3/8 inch nut on the end of it for weight, and then drive a string, and I drill a hole, small hole in the end of the, usually the eraser that's no longer there other than in the metal cap. Drill a hole down in the middle of it, stick in a string, and then I use that as what I call my pencil bobs. It's cheap, and your kids probably have a lot of them laying around anyway. So once you get it all set up, let everything settle in so that all the plumb the pencil bobs are stationary, and you can check and say, okay, everything is in place. So the next stage now is a final check of everything, and then mix up some gel magic, and we'll do a little bit of jump stitching around the edges. I drill out the opening in the keel after I have everything in. I bore down through later, which I'll show you with my electric drill and a very long bit extension. But now I've got the boat leveled out, squared up true. I extended out the pole. I brought in a piece of 2x2. It's not long enough to be used as a seat placement here. I think I can use it on a bow, but I've got it clamped up. Everything is level here and level here. I took a piece of 2x2 scrap and then took my adjustable square and then figured in all the angles on using this side, if I hadn't walked out of the screen, and then set up, use this template on my bandsaw, my new Powermatic bandsaw, to cut this, and then break out a homemade divider out of some leftover plywood, and then I know that right here is the forward 2x2 that's going to cross over to support the seat system. I measure in from side to side, take this measurement here, and then measure with my tape, measure this distance and give myself a little bit more, and then I'll mark up on one end of a 2x2 that cut line, and then I will make its mate on the other side, and after a whole lot of messing around, you've got the piece that fits in. I make some little spacers, clamps on the side to act as like little stickers. This piece can come down. Now I have my seat set in. I got the first one cut over. Everything is level and true. Now I'll measure off 1 foot back and then go through this whole thing again. Okay, I've taken all my tools and I've reset back, measured back my 12 inches from here back to the second one. I've got this one set up from the dagger board case, leveled out, leveled sideways, cut, held in place by my sticker boards here. And then now I've gone back. What I've done was I've taken 2 pieces of scrap, marked off 1 foot lines from the leading edge to the aft edge of the second board, clamped them in place. That gives me an idea of where the edge of the end of the 2x2 is going to be. On the aft side, the short side, you got to remember it's the short side. And when you measure this distance with your dividers, remember it's the short side, not the long one. Don't cut the full length and then bevel the ends on that short distance. So I've got that in place. It's held in place. Measured out 1 foot from the forward edge to the aft edge. I'm leveled fore and aft. Now all I got to do is mark a pencil line around the perimeter of it, so I know when I add the gel magic that I'm only going to be need to put the gel magic where that magic